Hello, this is Hero Examination, where we examine all types of heroes from all types of media, featuring Fa Mulan from Mulan, one of the best Disney heroines to come out of the company. So, without further ado, let's get started. Born in ancient China, Mulan, from what we know about her, grew up in a very loving family who cared and supported her. Mulan felt like she had to do her part to make her family and her ancestors happy, as in this time you are expected to bring them honor. However, in the movie, she's clumsy at a task where she has to make herself look like a bride, a task that brings honor to the family. And from the song Reflection, she does not feel comfortable doing this and knows it's not who she is, but doesn't want to express those feelings she has because it will break her family's heart, thinking that she can never make for a perfect daughter. However, this allows her to develop a level of persistence and cleverness as she tries to think of ways to get the job done, never quitting or giving up despite the hardships, which will come in handy in the rest of the movie. We also see slight hints of her strategic skills and resourcefulness, like when she uses her dog to get her chores done or finding strategies in a board game. Once war hits, one man from every household is ordered to fight for the Emperor, and her father volunteers to go due to him being the only male Fa member. Now, while her relationship with her father is brief, it does give us some info on her character. Her father is a person who takes the traditional route seriously and has already fought for his country before, and Mulan knows this, but he also is very respectful and gentle towards her. Mulan, possibly knowing all the sacrifices he made for the family, felt like she had to bring her family honor even more despite the fact that she must do it in a position she's not comfortable in. Family is very important to her. In fact, it's clear that while she doesn't hate the traditions, she also doesn't really take them seriously either, due to her being late for certain events, writing cheat codes, and struggling with her hair and walking. Her real motive for following them was out of love for her family, so when her father decides to go to war, Mulan calls this out even though it's tradition for them to go to war, saying he might die in battle. She's more willing to call out tradition if it hurts her family and loved ones, which also shows us how selfless she is. Then to save her father, she bravely goes to war for him by disguising herself. This also is enhanced by the little detail of her always touching her hair when she feels scared and nervous. This is based on the voice actress Ming-Na Wen's habit of doing the same, so cutting her hair, she is willing to give up her comfort for the sake of her family, which you could say that's what she's been doing in the past too. The moment she arrives at camp is also where her identity gets challenged as well. When she sees how all the army men act, she feels off-putted and not comfortable with the supposed habits Mushu the dragon says she needs to do, which awkwardly makes her think she can't do this. This is tested even further when Li Shang trains them in basic training, and well, she struggles at that too, mostly because of Mushu and the other army members, but it still does make her use two things that are useful: her cunningness and intelligence. She already showed persistence and discipline as she kept trying to fit in with the army even though she fails, which isn't too dissimilar to how she kept failing in her other life. However, like those times, she persisted and kept finding ways to get the job done. For example, when Li Shang orders the trainees to get an arrow from a pole while wearing weights, everyone struggles, but she smartly comes up with the idea to use them as climbing tools to get up to the top and get the arrow. These skills also make Mulan better at fighting and carrying water. Eventually, she also wins the respect of the other soldiers, something she lost in trying to fit in with them. They then get sent off to battle, and at first it seems like it's smooth from here, until her, along with the rest of the soldiers, find a village destroyed and most of the army gone. Mulan now realizes the reality of the situation. The army now is faced with a much bigger challenge than what they probably thought they were going to get. Mulan was used to facing bigger challenges, but not so much the rest of the army. The Huns, led by Shen Yu, managed to find them while they were walking through the mountains, and we see the soldiers being hesitant because, again, they didn't know they would be in these types of battles, so they weren't properly prepared. However, Mulan, like the other times she's been in difficult situations, tries to find solutions, and she gets the idea to aim their last cannon at the mountain, causing an avalanche and killing most of the Huns in the process, and saving the others. Unfortunately, afterwards, her identity as a woman is revealed, and though she is spared, she still feels like she's failed once again, as Shang and the army abandons her. She admits that though she did go for her father, she also wanted to show that she can do something right, that her identity is worth something by simply doing this one good thing. However, instead, she sees nothing, and now feels like she doesn't fit in anywhere. However, Mushu quickly points out that she did this for her father and the people she loved, and that's worth something. However, Shan Yu, along with some of the other Huns, survive, and this makes Mulan go to the capital city to warn everyone. But they don't listen to her, which results in the Emperor being kidnapped. However, thanks to her clever planning, she is able to break in the palace with the help of her 3 new friends, as the 3 of them disguise themselves as women to sneak inside. She then bravely faces off against Shan Yu, and through some extra planning, she is able to beat him by tricking him into being hit by fireworks. The Emperor honors her for her duty, and him, along with the rest of the city, bows to her. The Emperor asks her to be his royal guard, something that would probably be the biggest honor for her, but she declines, deciding to go back home instead, proving that once again she did this for her family and not for herself. We then get a scene where she meets her father again. Mulan, at this moment, probably thought her father would be upset that she dishonored him for going out and taking his place, so to prove herself, she gives him the gifts the Emperor gave her as a sign of honor for the family. But he admits the greatest honor is having her for a daughter, which made her feel like she was proud of herself, something she had always wanted to feel since the beginning of the movie. So at the end, who was Mulan? She was someone with a loving and supportive family, and with a desire to prove herself in the eyes of said family. And due to her desire to protect them, and prove herself that she's worth something, she went out and joined the army, finding more about herself and her strengths and weaknesses. And due to honing in on her strengths, she was able to save China and become a hero. Thanks for watching.